What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I got some breaking news for you guys. There are multiple reports, but this is coming from Greg Likens. Tweeted out, Dolphins announced that they have signed linebacker Calvin Munson off of New England's practice squad and placed linebacker Raekwon McMillan on injured reserve. So, more roster shuffling around. Another player goes to injured reserve. There goes pretty much all of the run defense that we did have. Certainly a major piece of that. He was one of the, I think there was a tweet that said he was tied for team lead in tackles with Eric Rowe at 72. And then, you know, we signed another practice squad guy that's not even going to get any like legit evaluation time in these last two games probably. I mean, he might be in there. He might end up playing at some point. He might go in because he might likely be needed. But that doesn't mean that he's gonna, grasp the playbook in time and practice enough and so on and so forth and gain a chemistry with the guys around him. I mean, how can any player on this team gain any kind of chemistry when there's constant roster turnover? So just wanted to let you guys know about that. It's unfortunate. It makes this next game even harder, right? So, I mean, theoretically, we should be able to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. It's a home game for us. But, man, I mean, just at every turn, there's just more devastating news constantly. And the injuries, man, I mean, the injured reserve list is massive. There's, I don't even know, but there's got to be like 15 plus players on the fucking injured reserve at this point. And, most people don't like to talk about it or try and deny it or whatever, but these injuries are in large part because of the coaching staff. It's and the front office for systematically making the team so low in talent and everything that they're just not able to compete, even though they're like giving it 100% and putting their bodies on the line. They just end up getting worn down and hurt. So the coaching staff and the front office are definitely culpable in why we've had so many injuries this year. And again, it's a unique situation. In most cases, like 99% of the time, you can't blame anyone really, unless you found out that there was some sort of like negligence, like they forced a guy to play, with an injury or something like that, right? But aside from that, there's almost no way to blame, a coaching staff or a front office for injuries, unless it's also this. This is another example of, a situation where you could, right? Not just if, let's say, team doctors say, oh, he's fine, even though he actually has something more serious than it is, right? Just so that way he can go out and play on Sunday. This is another situation where your team intentionally strips you of so much talent and leadership and production and all that stuff that you just, no matter how hard the players play, they just, they can't compete. They just can't compete. And then look, I mean, even guys like Nick Needham, right? He's one of the few, bright spots, but he gets a bunch of penalties as well. Why? Because he's trying to overextend himself. Yes, he is a young player and that's part of it, but he's trying to overextend himself and he's gotten banged up a little bit. So anyway, I don't want to go on too long of a diatribe. I just wanted to let you guys know about the roster moves and, yeah, I mean, of course, the other side of it too is if McMillan's not that injured, which, I mean, he hasn't been on the injury report. He popped up like once, like a few weeks ago or something like that, but he wasn't on the most recent ones. There was no indication to me he didn't come out of the game this past week against the Giants. So, like, if he's not actually injured, then there's that. But I'm just going to go with the assumption that he is, even though there was no, you know, evidence to say that he really had anything going on. There was no, you know, signs of it until he just randomly got put onto injured reserve. It doesn't mean he doesn't have an injury. I'm just saying, I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying it, right? So, or I'm just saying, right? So, like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. That's what I'm saying, right? Anyway, I'm gonna wrap it here. I hope you guys enjoy my videos and my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Make sure you share my channel and my videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I'm out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.